All right, well, hello and welcome back to another weekly edition of Stock Market Mutterings, where I'll do my best to try to find you some quality trading setups. This is for the week of October 1st. I mean, can you believe it? This is the last quarter of 2018. Now, I know a lot of you sat out there at the beginning of the year and you wrote down all of these goals. You had this vision of where you were going to be as a trader by this time. And some of you are either on track or some of you are off track. Regardless of what it is, and if you're trying to move to another plateau with your trading, you're trying to just get on track and trying to just figure this whole thing out and stop making so many mistakes, stop self-sabotaging yourself, or maybe you are successful, but you're trying to go to another level where you can trust yourself to where you can do this for a living, visit thelincolnlist.com, click on the Trade Room tab, and you can start trading with us right away. Also, don't forget, the last thing I'll say here before I get started is our part-time swing trade program. This is the last week of the free trials. Actually, this will be the last day, up 40% year to date. So just go to the website, click on part-time trader there if that's something that you're interested in. So let's go ahead and talk here about the market. There's nothing really new to report here. You get a little fade, you get a little bounce. You get a little fade, you get a little bounce. It really doesn't seem like anything that's going on. All of this drama in the world, the political drama, the financial drama, it makes no difference. It just does not seem that anything that's thrown at this can keep the market down for very long. Yes, you pulled off of all-time highs here a little bit, but if you look at the chart down below, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because there's really not a lot to talk about when it comes to it because you're still in this upward trend going all the way from pretty much the entire summer. So as the quarter ended, this was a very, very strong quarter, one of the strongest I think we've had in some time. Is that going to continue through Christmas? Is that going to stay through these elections? I have absolutely no idea. We're going to start to see some of that play out here through the month of October. But still, as you're looking at it, you trade what you see, not what you think or what you believe. And right now, we're still in a bullish market. That's all there is to it. We haven't really lost the 20 moving average for very long since the entire summer, since the summer started. So just keep your eyes on that. If something is to happen, because you never know, then if you start seeing prints underneath of 289, then maybe you can start working your way down to the 50 moving average of 286. So until that happens, then the market is what it is and you just have to go with it. That's all I'm going to spend on that. Let's move on to a few stocks that we can talk about because there have been some great opportunities and I think you're going to like some of the stuff that we have here to talk about. First, I want to draw your attention here to AMRN if your attention isn't already on it. I'm doing this right now at the close on a Friday, and there is just enormous volume being shoved into this thing. Now, by the time you watch this video, it'll be Sunday afternoon or Monday, or maybe you'll never watch it, who knows. But this thing was already up, I think it was like 17% for the day, and then another 5%. The thing about it, though, is there is we're talking about late on a Friday when most people have checked out and gone for the weekend. And this thing is having enormous amounts of volume going on after hours. What does that mean? Shit, I don't know. I'm just telling you, watch this damn thing. Something's going on. It's very rare. You know, the technical analysis is one thing. Common sense is a completely different thing. It's rare to see so much volume being piled in prior to the weekend. Either there's a leak of information that's coming out on Monday, somebody's trying to accumulate this position, but that's an awful lot of volume to see late on a Friday and going into the weekend. It just gives you the feel. Basic common sense tells you a bunch of people want this before the weekend. What does that mean? We're going to find out here real soon. Watch it because you know, maybe it's going to be a buyout, who knows, maybe it's news, but one way or the other, there's probably going to be a tradable event here. I can't tell you which way that's going to be until whatever happens, but watch this thing. I just want you to watch it because I think there's going to be a lot of action on that name and there's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's move to something else here, which is NVDA. Now, I want to share with you a pattern we've seen over the last couple of weeks. I can only recall this by memory for this week. The earnings, not the earnings, scratch that. The upgrade is the new earnings. And what I mean by that is we saw SQ get upgraded on, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know. Let me put SQ up there. Monster move on this SQ on the day that it was, the day that it was upgraded. You got this humongous move. Apple gets upgraded, puts in like a +6 or a +7. And then NVIDIA gets upgraded and you have almost a +14 for the day. So what's happened is seems like every time one of these things get hit with an upgrade, they're just going nuts for that day. We saw that with SQ. We saw that with Apple, like I just pointed out. And sometimes, especially SQ, that chart was starting to look a little tad weak. Not real weak, but starting to look a tad weak. Upgrade comes up, bam, the thing just jams right to 100. So what I'm saying here is these upgraded stocks are being treated very aggressively. Maybe all these people were used to buying earnings winners, and now they don't have that right now for the next couple weeks. So anything that gets good news, they just pile on. Now, one of the patterns that we have seen is it's had a really strong day, the day of the upgrade, followed by the second day being up, just kind of nothing, just sitting there. And then just sort of trickling back up on day 3. I can't say that's going to be a situation here for NVIDIA, but after this upgrade, I would expect that sometime during the beginning part of the week that you're going to see this thing try to remount and go back up to 285.50s. So watch that 285.50. That's a really important area. I believe that's all-time highs if I'm correct. That was the highs of the year from September. And you got a pretty big move. Let it digest for just a minute or so, but watch this thing because I think as you might even get a spike Monday morning, who knows, or a gap up then. But watch it because if it gets up in there, again, the market's also playing favorites when it comes to daily chart highs. You go back, you look at stuff like Lulu, look what it does when it goes through daily chart highs. You're going to see tons of stocks like that. Stocks that get upgraded, people are buying like crazy. Stocks that are going through daily chart highs, people are buying them like crazy. If you have a sequence of events like that where it happens in the case of NVIDIA where you get both at the same time or an SQ, then look out. You're going to see a big move. So watch this thing because there's potential to go up to 285, and I think you're going to possibly see that. BA is another one here that, I don't know, I guess, you know, people don't give a damn about tariffs. It's like, these are just numbers. I should have said that when I was talking about the SPY earlier because it's like, you know, no matter what happens, a couple bill here, a couple bill there for some tariffs, market goes higher. This thing just crested a daily chart breakout. Now, you've got some highs. I hope you can see this. If you go to the far left of the chart right here, you can see, I think it's the 7th. Yeah, the 7th of June, you got a high of 375.20. Watch that 375.20. It did just break out of the short term right here, which was 921's highs of 372.80. Sold off there a little bit late in the day, not too alarming, but watch that thing. If it starts to gear up early, look for that first thing to get hit, which is 6-7 highs of 374.50s. Watch for it to challenge that. And then if it gets through there, it's got some space to run. Again, that daily chart high thing has been a theme that we've seen. Maybe it won't work, you know, but we're going to keep continuing to kick it until it stops working. So Boeing here has the potential to go a little bit higher with a breakout. Also, this I. Now, this one is not one of my, you know, years ago, I would just short this stuff right here. And I did so with enthusiasm, right? Excitement and profitability. It was one of my favorites. I loved it, but for some reason we started talking about this. I don't want to just bitch and moan and complain. This is what happens. The market changes its behaviors at times. These stocks have gone from slam dunk shorts to practically slam dunk buys. I mean, you know, 2 years ago I would have said, hell no, I'd never buy something like this. Now in this market, you know, from 2017 on, I'm like, yeah, until they stop working, yeah, I probably would buy something like this because what we're seeing with shorts like this that started last year is that they'll pull back a little bit and you'll get some cash, but you're putting yourself at such a I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but you're in a bad situation where you could possibly get squeezed righteously. So watch this thing. It's already at highs. I don't want it right now, but maybe it'll set up a little bit on Monday and open up the door for a pretty good trade. And just kind of rushing along, last thing I'm going to throw out here is the Facebook. I talked about this a couple weeks ago in the 160 level. I was like, if this thing loses 160, it's toast. Well, it fought that off. And in fact, it went all the way up to over 170. It bounces like $10. I mean, it has a massive run. And then all of a sudden, this user thing comes out where it's like 50 million users, data was compromised or whatever, and then it just gets smoked. Now, I'm looking at it technically at the 160. Maybe that 160 gets challenged again. We're back at that number, and that's something to pay attention to. On the other side, it's like, who gives a damn? I mean, I know it's sad but they've been doing this stuff. I mean, this is something that's been going on forever. They've been selling your data. They've been pillaging your information. They've been probably spying on you. And what, 50 million user data are compromised? The whole freaking entire database they have is probably compromised. but that's a completely different story. My thing is that 160 has been really important the entire month of September. It's been holding that. Watch it. I mean, at one point, it's either going to get far away from that and stick, or it's going to lose it, and this is going to be a great short. So we're going to find out. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it like that. As always, if you need help with your trading, I mentioned at the beginning, you know how to reach out to me. We trade live every day in our live trade room. You can see all the trades on screen. That way, it really helps you learn and understand what we see as traders and how we work together as a group. Also, we have our part-time swing trading program. It's great for people that have 401ks or restricted accounts or don't have time to just stare at computers all day. 40% year to date. I have all of it listed on the website, all the results since it started, year by year. So check that out. It's Part-Time Trader, thelincolnlist.com. Thank you for watching this week's Market Mutterings. Until next time, take care and trade well.